Why, hello, Deep Mindfulness Collective. This right here, right now, is the joy of being a live stream coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. Folks, I'm very delighted to be here with you, joined with my co-host, Willow, making all sorts of mouth smacking noises. Willow, why don't you let the folks know what time it is? Go ahead. You talk right into the microphone. Okay, she has nothing to say right now, but she is the greatest. Look at this dog. I just want to hang out with the dog all day. What if the stream was just hanging out with the dog? I say it all the time. What if the stream were just X thing? And in this case, I would think it should just be hanging out with the dog all day long. Hi, Willow. Hi. Say hi. Hi. Yeah. She likes to lick. She'll go for any orifice. Folks, great to be here with you. Wonderful as always. Okay, hit me with in the chat. Uh-oh. 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 Wait. Remember? Hold on, Willow. Calm. We're going to get rocket launcher position like this. Yes. Remember? I taught Willow rocket launcher position. Okay, folks, hit me with where you're at. What are you grateful for? Very delighted to be back here. Was not able to stream on Monday. Very happy to be streaming today. Very happy to have Willow here with us. I'm going to put her away soon, so let me know where you're at. What are you grateful for? What's new? What's happening? What's going on? What's the deal? And I will jump in here to try to figure out what the heck's going on with the plan here. Let me know where you're at. What are you grateful for? And we will meditate in just a few minutes. So what is new, folks? What's happening? Okay, baby. Do you want to meditate with these folks? Are you already meditating? Is that what's going on? That's probably the case. Yeah. Well, let's just chillin'. Okay. Where am I at? I'm in Brooklyn. What am I grateful for? Besides doggo, yeah, I have someone here helping at the house today, which is lovely. Someone actually is helping get some stuff done next door, which is such a delight. What a luxury. Okay, folks, hit me with where you at, what are you grateful for? And we're going to meditate soon. We're going to meditate for 25 minutes, and then we're going to talk about that. Oh, stay awake. See, I feel bad. I feel like I don't want her to feel rejected. I also don't want her to lick my face. You're a good girl. Okay, folks, seriously, if you're just joining us here for the first time, if you're lurking, let us know and say hello. We'd love to see you. Love to say hi. Hello here, Julia Temple, tuning in from Vienna, Austria. Grateful for better posture. Thanks for mentioning. Yeah, I too have been thinking about better posture. I'm currently actually sitting cross-legged. Aaron B., Indiana, warm weather. Grateful for you to be here. Oh, Christian Ingram, welcome back. Great to see you here from Guatemala City. First time chatter. I feel like, Christian, you've been on our chat before, right? Okay. Well, if not, we welcome you here today. Using my left hand is not as easy as using my right hand with the mouse. Okay. Welcome, Christian Ingram. Great to be here with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Everyone here on the stream knows that this is how we greet people who haven't been here in a long time. So, Willow's getting antsy. I'm going to set her down. But we're going to meditate here for 25 minutes. Let me know what you want to meditate on. We have options. And I don't think we had a plan for today, so we can play it by ear. Okay, Willow, you ready? First, let's do the upside down thing, because that's really cute. Yeah. Look at this little schnapper. Hi. Trying to get her to learn to chill upside down like the Queen of Egypt. Just chilling. Yeah, good girl. What's going on over there? What's upside down? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put her away. I'll be right back. 30 seconds. Okay, we're back. Okay, how much does Willow weigh? Willow weighs 5.5 pounds. You know they're small when you're counting portions of pounds. So folks, because of the retreat, I haven't been sitting cross-legged for a long time. So I'm now sitting cross-legged while we meditate, which is like, got a little lazy for quite a while. Let's see here. Get this mic set up. Nice, a little far away now that I'm sitting up so high. It's all right, we'll work it out. Christian Ingram says, meditation on resting with difficult emotions for high performance or just normal everyday functioning. I have that fight each other. I have parts that fight each other. Okay, great. So we literally, I think this was the last stream we did, was to focus on difficult emotion and then work from there. The problem that I had was that there are several, what's that sound? It's amazing. It's like somebody starts music the second we start the stream. The challenge that we had in the last stream was that some people just didn't feel difficult emotions. So I was guiding around that and they didn't feel that. So for that particular thing, I'm going to recommend go to the previous meditation, the previous stream, which was Friday. And we can do something that'll relate to it. It won't be really directly towards how to deal with difficult emotions. Or maybe it will. Let me think for a second here. Okay, it can't actually be like crazy loud. Whoa, what is that sound? I don't even know if you guys can hear that. That's Willow. It's music and Willow. Okay. Well, we'll chill for now. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's not, too disturbing. Okay, so difficult part. The part we can talk about is parts that fight with each other. That is interesting. Okay. So let's do a meditation around that. Parts that fight with each other. And there's something else that I wanted to do related to parts. Yeah, we'll just do a general parts related meditation. So I don't have to introduce all of this during the meditation. When we talk about parts, we're just talking about a part of us that wants something, has a need, has a direction. So if you are familiar with clinging or aversion, any sense of the system wanting something or not wanting something, being drawn towards anything or not drawn towards something, we're going to distinguish each of these as a kind of part of us that wants X or doesn't want Y, that kind of thing. We've often had the experience of being, wanting to watch a movie, but at the same time wanting to get something done. So these are different parts of ourselves. Christian Ingrams also says, being able to sit with feeling and doing something else while doing a scheduled thing with no problem. Okay, sorry, I don't understand that. Being able to sit with feelings. Will you clarify? Okay, being able to sit with feelings or doing something else. Is that you've just copied? Feelings of doing something else while doing the scheduled thing with no problem. I don't understand that. Will you just clarify what you mean there? Okay, so I think you have equanimity with feelings while doing something else, maybe. I don't know if you can hear that music in the background, but it's cranking, it's booming. Okay, folks, let us meditate. I can tell I'm a little antsy today. I'm like, I don't want to meditate, but we're gonna. Okay, so we're gonna meditate for 25 minutes. I'm gonna encourage you to find a position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. I encourage you to find a way to get the knees lower than the hips. I'm going to have you sit in stillness, and if you cannot be in stillness, that's okay. You're not going to be in trouble. Okay, if you don't feel like doing something and still taking an action. Okay, so that's a classic conflict of parts. One part of you wants to do it, one part of you does not want to do it. So the short answer is you want to find the needs of that part and meet those needs, and then so that it doesn't have to try to get its needs met the entire time you're doing X thing. So if there's a part that wants to rest, for instance, you want to make sure that part gets its needs met. Ultimately, it wants to rest. It's possible that instead of resting, we're just always sort of on, for instance, and so it never really gets time off, never gets to chill, etc. So you want to make sure it actually has that time that it needs in order to chill, in order to get its needs met. And then so when you're doing the task, you can just do the task and ask that part to sort of hang out in the background, if that makes sense. So with that, we're just going to do a general parts-based practice here today. You're going to hear me squirm because not only am I sitting cross-legged, I'm sitting cross-legged on a couch, which is weird, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so folks, let's go here. Let's meditate. Find that nice, comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. And when you're ready, we'll begin. Why don't we wait until Julia Temple. Julia Temple, why don't you tell us when you're ready? And when you're ready, we'll begin. Oh, Here for the Rave is back. Welcome. Okay, let's meditate it up. Welcome back. Excuse me. Let's begin. Beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths and just feeling the body rise and fall. Each time we begin a meditation, we begin with the momentum of all the previous moments. This means that the emotions we were feeling just a moment ago, the thoughts that were speeding through our mind, they're going to be continuing with this direction, this momentum in this particular moment. This is not a problem. This is just nature. So as you tune into the body, relaxing, letting the body simply breathe as it is. I'm going to encourage you to begin by actually slowing the breathing down, breathing deeply from the lower belly, letting the side ribs expand, the chest expand, holding at the top of the in-breath for just a few seconds, and then letting the out-breath be smooth, refined, complete. Breathing in this way will begin to slow down our nervous system. So you may notice all of the activity of your current experience, all of that momentum of the different parts of us occurring in the foreground. At the same time, in the background, there can be a sense of a kind of quiet, still space coalescing. We're beginning to lean back into that quiet, still space. Anytime we feel overwhelm of any kind, we can use this as a way to settle our nervous system. So beginning by sweeping through the body to let go of any undue tension. So starting at the top of the head, relax the brow. Relax the muscles behind the eyes. Allowing the face to go smooth and relaxing the jaw. And the back of the tongue, letting the jaw go slack. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders. The upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and relaxing the hands. And as we still continue to allow the breath to be broad, deep, and smooth. Noticing the natural tightening and relaxing of the upper chest and upper back as the breath comes and goes. Relaxing the belly and the lower back. Relaxing the hips and the upper legs, the knees and calves, and relaxing the feet. And then relaxing all of the body together as one collection of sensations. And we'll start with a kind of whole part meditation. So if we notice any part of ourselves or any part of the world, we'll simply introduce it to the whole. So for instance, the mind is suddenly drawn to the sensations of the left hand. This is part of our experience. So introducing that sense data to all of our experience as one collective. We're resting in the whole, the totality of our experience in this moment, noticing that the mind is drawn to a specific part of our experience. This is a movement between attention and awareness. A movement between the part of the mind that observes things like a laser and the part of the mind that experiences things more like a lantern, just shining in all directions. At any given moment, the mind will be experiencing the world as either whole, which we're leaning towards, or part. beginning to recognize that this whole, this totality, in other words, awareness, is very generous, very open to whatever comes into it. So for a moment, letting go of the whole part process and just soaking into this welcoming nature of awareness itself. Giving a little bit of gratitude for the fact that this awareness doesn't ask anything of us. It's not even asking time to move forward. It's just aware. Notice that a huge part of our experience, a core part of our experiencing in this moment, doesn't need anything to be different. We usually feel so much pressure each day. As soon as we wake up, there's something being asked of us. So in this moment, noticing that this awareness, this space that we experience the world through, doesn't need anything to be different. And of course, there might be parts of us that do need something to be different. It's not a problem. Just recognizing those parts as parts. Part of me would like X, Y, or Z to be different, but introducing that to the whole. Feeling a little bit of gratitude for this space that doesn't need anything to be different. Thank you. Thank you. In other words, engaging with the kindness, the compassionate nature of this awareness. Beginning to look for any parts of us that feel like a self, like they are currently me, or parts of us that feel like they're just sub-personalities, sub-minds that aren't currently taking over. We are not currently identified with various drives within us. And not overcomplicating this. It's not a theoretical exercise, just looking for any part of us that would want this moment to be different in any way, that are interested in something occurring. For instance, interested in the body moving or adjusting. Parts that want the meditation to go well, parts that understand the meditation. Whatever parts are arising, just being with them. We might even say, I see you, of course. see you. Of course. Of course. So we're greeting any parts of us with this kind awareness, this gentle knowing, and seeing what it's like for those parts to experience that. And choosing one part of us at this moment, knowing that if there's any sense of self or me, then this is a part. Any sense of an observer or the part of us that understands this process, each of these is a part. And greeting that part not just with kind awareness, but with curiosity. What is this part's experience of the world? What is its way of being? Often our interactions with our experiences are almost like statements. This is how it is. This is how it is. So being curious, how is this part experiencing this moment? And greeting and supporting that part with whatever is helpful. This could be breathing in a particular way. If we found that we've lost the slow, smooth breathing, we can re-engage with this, especially if there's any degree of overwhelm. We can put our hands on different parts of the body to secure and make those parts of us feel held. We can stretch, adjust the body to help it feel more comfortable. And we'll start to notice that the body will send signals. It'll send waves of sensation through the body, giving it instructions to move, to adjust. And listening to those signals, listening to the ways this part communicates that it needs. That would help it to feel safe, to feel heard. Seeing if that part wants to show us anything at all. Any body sensations, any sounds, any mental images or sights. And our job is not to change any part of us or to probe and deconstruct any part of us. It's just to be with, be friends with, sit next to the part, welcoming it into this moment with that kind awareness, and cultivating a relationship with this part, just befriending this part. Of course, friendship is a time-based medium. We're just being with this part. If we find there's a part that has an agenda, that wants the process to develop or move forward, just welcoming that part. Welcome. Just being with that part. If we find that we merge with, if we blend or identify with a part, it'll seem like it is us. It'll seem indistinguishable from our own perspective. But if the self that we experience as me in this moment has any drive whatsoever, any need for anything to be different, even a little, this is a part. Often parts operate as though they were us. I'll take over the system just to get things done, and that's lovely. But we don't want to confuse those parts with the whole, with this kind awareness. With ourselves. Welcoming and befriending any part that arises if we find that there's a part that is more vulnerable. Finding a way to soothe this part. Stay with this part. If we find another part of us pulls us away or wants to add a conceptual or emotional protective layer on top, that's fine. We can either just let that part go, coming back to the more vulnerable part, or if that protective part is more insistent, we can just go with that part, no problem. Welcome. So staying with the practice, staying in stillness, allowing a tiny bit of light to enter the eyes, eventually allowing the eyes to rest on a single point as they fully open. Letting the spaciousness of seeing expand the spaciousness of awareness. Letting this particular moment be the great teacher, showing us how we might bring this practice into every aspect of our life. Okay. Making any adjustment you need in order to be comfortable. My cushion was just like rolling the whole time. I'm very much not used to or not reconditioned to sit on a hard surface without any movement for a while. I used to be very comfortable with that. Now I'm like, my body's jangly. Okay, welcome back, folks. What was that like? What happened? What do you like now? Hit me with your best report. Best report wins a prize. I don't know what that prize is. Also, if you want to chat, if you want to use your voice, you can jump here to Discord and we're going to chit chat like kitty cats. I can hear your report. It makes it much easier to find out about what's going on with you. Let's see here. Great. Okay, folks, what was that like? What happened? What do you like now? Here for the Rave 420 says, that was great. Well, thank you. I'm glad that was enjoyable. Glad that was a good time for everyone. What else? What happened, though? That's what I wonder. What happened in your experience? What occurred? Imagine for a minute there was someone who was not inside of your mind. And imagine for a minute that person was me. That makes sense. Very luckily, I feel very positive about this. I really, truly hope this goes through. Apparently, the United States Senate passed a bill saying that it would end daylight savings in 2023. I pray that that is the case. I really don't like daylight savings. I'm still tired. It's weird how it's like, anyway, it just messed me up. I did a few parts. Sorry. Let me just let the computer read this, just save us the trouble. It's really funny how, I don't know, especially after meditation, my dyslexia will be, really wacky. Come on, Julia Temple says.
I did have a few parts come up. They were quite vague and didn't seem to be quite aware of each other. That led to waves of confusion. What is going on? Now I'm a little restless but also have more energy.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, often parts have no idea about each other. They're so fixated on their own individual role that they don't know. They don't know. For the Rave says,
it was very calming. My breathing is tough sometimes, but it was a lot easier this time.
Awesome. Yeah. It's always if you notice that the breathing, it's hard to do the sort of slow, vagal nerve type breathing that's going to slow the nervous system down, which honestly is like one of the biggest, people come to meditation for stress reduction. Honestly, just breathe in this particular way. It's going to work every time. Then we can like get the stress reduction part off the table and do all the really cool, the cool stuff that, stress reduction is helpful for. And yeah, and that's that. Let's see. Okay, folks. Okay, hit me with any other reports, questions, comments, queries. Oh, Christian Ingram's on Discord. Very excited about this. I'm going to bump you in here to speak, and you're welcome to jump in anytime.
Can you hear me?
I do. Welcome.
Great, thanks. So, can I ask any question, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so since the only retreat I have like available is Vipassana 10-day silent retreat,
Great.
I'm going on one in a couple of weeks. So I was on one about 2 years ago. So I've lived through one, and I just want to know, working with like your type of teachings, if there's any way we can like approach the body scan technique.
Yeah.
Like noticing gone or something.
Yeah. So this is going to be my suggestion, and I my concern is I would not have liked this answer, X number of years ago, because I just, I would not have liked the answer. I would have thought like, no, I want to find a way to create my own sort of like combination, etc. Because they are so specific, and because they don't like other meditation techniques, they're sort of averse to other meditation techniques. That would be a problem if their meditation technique wasn't very good, right? It would be like, I have to do some combination or something, some way to improve their technique because I'm interested in other stuff and this kind of thing. Ultimately, they have a pretty damn good system. It does not capture everything. It does not capture, certain things that I think are really important. And because they're not going to want to, if you ask a question and say, hey, I'm adding in this thing, I'm noticing gons of this, this quality as we're doing this, they're going to say, stop doing that. Don't do that, and just observe what we're telling you to observe. So you'll have to hide that stuff. You can't talk about it. So now you're doing something that's sort of not suggested, and you can't talk about it, or you're not going to get an answer. What I will say though is whatever meditation you do leading up to the retreat is going to inform your practice greatly. So if you notice a lot of gons before you go, if you practice from a place of kind awareness, which I highly recommend because it softens everything a great deal, that's just going to roll into the retreat, just how it is. Traditionally, the Mahasi retreats with the sort of all the rapid noting kind of thing, he would have people normally do like 2 to 3 months of kind awareness sort of heart practice before they went into doing that noting. So all those terrible, difficult effects that people talk about, the dark night, etc., would often be really mitigated because they'd come in from this very soft, gentle place. So my suggestion is do a bunch of meditation beforehand as much as you can, as much as you're willing to, that is in the direction you want to go. And when you get there, there's something very, very powerful, which I didn't get, it took me like going to Asia several times before I realized there's a benefit to just giving up all of my skills and my techniques and the things I read and the teachers I know and my preferences, and just as closely as I can, just doing what this person is telling me to do and not thinking. Because a lot of the time the executive functioning is just another part that's trying to like manage and control and make it perfect. And so, like I said, this might be a disappointing answer, but my suggestion is basically do what they recommend and just do just that, exactly what they're recommending, and just letting go into that is going to probably give you much more benefit than like tweaking it in some little way. However, before the retreat, you can spend time and really soak in to whatever practice you want, and that's 100% going to influence the whole retreat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've heard you speak about going on retreats and practicing other techniques before. I've decided to, before even I asked you to stick to the technique. The thing is, when last time at least, I was a far more inexperienced meditator, and like when you ask questions, uh, not to diss on the community, but I feel like the answers are somewhat very vague, or maybe even slightly incompetent in some ways, like compared to instruction I've heard from you and Shinsen.
I see.
Because so yeah, that's my question. Wasn't like uh, from what I've read and stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a pretty, like you said, it's a pretty damn good like technique or technology to use.
Yeah.
Just like for example, when disorienting things arise
Hmm.
around the technique. Yeah, suggestions for, like for example, while outside, like for example, ways to incorporate like walk and meditation,
Hmm.
like more general retreat tips.
General retreat tips.
Yeah, non-specific
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, I can give you those. I will just re-emphasize this thing that, like, sorry, I'm again trying to get my body in a good sitting posture because I'm guiding the retreat. I'm teaching the retreat on May. So general retreat tips. I should make a video on this because I want to send this to people who are doing the retreat too. So this will be draft 1 right now, general retreat tips. But I'll also just say that I really just want to emphasize that whatever you do leading up to the retreat is going to feed into the practice you do. So if you are interested in one particular facet of your experience, like Gone, for instance, or for me right now, the number one thing that is I'm finding as a like core tool, if I'm just like teaching one thing like scattershot to people, isn't Gone, it's kind awareness. And I would have been so opposed to this for so many years, but kind awareness just has so much, it's so crazy robust in what it can actually do, especially if you start using kind awareness to just basically pass through everything, pass through the solidity of every experience. So for me, and in particular, the kindness, the gentleness actually just softens everything, makes disorienting things and challenging things much simpler. So in terms of retreat tips in general, that's my specific retreat suggestion, but retreat tips in general. In terms of preparation, it is good to just do as much meditation as you can. That's really helpful. On the retreat, generally, I'm going to encourage anyone to stay with the practice as often as they possibly can. Just continuously stay with the practice. But remember that continuously staying with the practice doesn't mean you're always just like trying as hard as you can. It's like practice. Sometimes we actually need to back off. And we really, in our culture, there's such an emphasis on like, go, do it, you can do it. Do the thing, Protestant work ethic, like push. That we forget that there's two sides to, there's like a kind of yin and yang to efforting. You want to effort and you want to also like let go, and you're trying to see how little effort you can apply and stay continuously engaged. And there's times when you're practicing and letting go and just having a kind of soft way of doing the practice, not so like focus, can suddenly make everything very easy and open everything up, and suddenly it's like it becomes very palpable. So just remember there's two phases. There's bearing down and backing off. And something that I find in particular with men, in particular with younger men, they think bearing down is the only thing that exists, and they often like, it's like pulling a muscle. It's like all I'm going to do is run really fast, and that's the best way to like grow. And it's like, well, no, you need to actually pace yourself and go back and forth between high energy and low energy, and you gotta do that. So that would be a suggestion. The other thing is like decide the degree to which you want to commit to the practice beforehand. So I suggest all the time, and just go ahead and do that and see if you can avoid reading anything, avoid these are all things that usually on the Goenka retreat they will handle for you. There's not reading material
Oh yeah,
around.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other specifics. Oh, one of my biggest tips for retreats is meals. I think people really underestimate the power of meals. The reason being is it's often the most pleasurable point of the entire retreat is every meal. You're like, oh my God, like I can take a break from this thing and taste these amazing, flavors. Even if they're kind of bland, it's such a wonderful time, I find. And it's a huge portion of the retreat, 3 times a day or at least 2 times a day there's this meal. So typically for meals I totally break them up into pieces and really do a pretty formalized practice in meals. Now you don't have to do all this. This is a whole bunch, but you could take pieces of this or do exactly what I'm describing. So typically what I'll do for the meal is for one thing, I tend to eat less and less over the course of the retreat, remembering I'm burning fewer and fewer calories. Mahasi actually used to say, like, if you're having, sleepiness, etc., just reduce your calories, which I thought was amazing. And when I was on retreat in Burma, my meals ended up being like, a few tablespoons of food, and I was like totally fine, because I realized, like, I'm just not burning calories. I'm slow walking, and I'm just like barely moving. So why would I need like these big meals? So I tend to, like, over the course of the time that I'm there, kind of be reducing calories a little bit, but you never want to be starving or anything. But that's one thing to keep yourself away from being sleepy. But you get your meal. I do the same ritual. So I'll sit down and I set my stuff up in this really particular way. I have my, spoon or fork on one side. I have my napkin on the other side. I will go through this whole process where I, reach down, feel the sensations of the fork or spoon or whatever. Watch the movement of the utensil as it goes. Watch as it touches the food. Feel the resistance in my hand. Lift up whatever amount of food it is. Feel the weight of the sensation of the food. Notice the colors. Notice the light. I had this really big moment at a retreat once where all of a sudden I was like, it sounds very simple or dumb, but I saw the light reflecting on the food, and I was just like, something cracked. I was like, whoa, like food reflects light, and there's something very deep about that, whatever that is. But it was just this moment of looking at the food before it moved. And then I'll
had some of those experiences. Yeah,
exactly.
Once a glass was like cracked, and I served hot water, and it broke in my hand. And I just stayed like observing the feelings of the hand instead of reacting to the burning sensation.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the thing the reason I asked about like general tips, because I heard I think you went to a Dan Brown retreat, or you were going to.
I participated in a virtual Dan Brown retreat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard him speak negatively about silent retreats,
Oh, sure.
saying that they can be detrimental for practice. So that's why, because again, I'm not a complete newbie. I've done one, so I know what it is. I can handle it. But yeah, what are your thoughts on his like objections to silent retreats?
I would have to think. I remember what his critique was. It was basically like, if you remember what it is, tell me, because I forget. But I remember him critiquing silent retreats. I think that I am always really suspicious of, and this is so common that I'm just suspicious of like most teachers to some degree, but they'll almost always say, okay, take a look at the other guy and look at the parts of their thing that are problematic, and now look at the parts of my thing that work really well.
Yeah.
And let's compare those two. And it's like, well, there's another option there. Like, why are we, there's another option, which is like, let's look at the parts of this other person's stuff that work well, and let's make sure to look at the parts of my stuff that really don't work so well, and realize, like, obviously this works well for some people, but many traditions are like, and Goenka is really intense this way. They're like, our system's the best. It's the one that works. And it makes a lot of comparisons to other systems in that way.
So kind of religious in some way.
Yeah, it's to and to the degree where like this technique is the best and it's ancient, and and I think that there's like a degree of humility. The Goenka technique. Hello, Will Alexander. Welcome. It's our resident poet laureate. We're gonna go up over Will Alexander's contribution in a minute. But is the Goenka tradition is they say like, oh, their technique is the one the Buddha did. It's ancient. It goes all the way back, and it's like there is no, and repeat, no scholarly indication that is the case. In fact,
I'm aware. I mean, you have to sit through the lectures in the evening, and you hear about reincarnation and whatnot. So you have to do it. I mean, my approach is, this is part of the retreat practice.
So I think the thing to remember, this is how there's that claim that it's old is not real, but it's a good technique. It's an innovative technique. It works. And that was the thing that I was talking to Shinzen about those. You can hear my puppy playing in the background. He was talking about, Goenka retreats, and he's like, yeah, people complain, Westerners come and they're like, they think they need all this special attention. You don't. Just do the technique. And he's done the Goenka retreats. He's like, they're good. They have a good system. So in a sense, it's powerful to learn the logic within the system. Like, how does this system work for itself, and respect that, and then go to Dan Brown and see how his system works and works within itself, and respect that, and understand that they're just different facets of the same material. Now they're going to emphasize different things and focus on different things, but ultimately they're both drivers of the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. Need some like I said, I've done one before, so I don't need like huge pointers, but and again, it's like a pretty self-contained course, so if they take care of you, you won't die. So
nice.
So
the last thing I'll mention, I do want to finish the thing about the eating. I won't go into every detail, but one of the things that I'll make sure to do is watch all the drives, because I want to eat this thing. I'm like, and I'm like, I want to eat it, and noticing those drives. I'll put the food in my mouth. Uh-oh. I think I might need to deal with my dog suddenly. Oh, wait. She might be fine, but she might really need, because she's had some medical things recently. Nothing terrible, just might need to take her.
Yeah, don't worry about it. If you have to go.
Okay, I'm gonna be back in 1 minute, you guys. 3 minutes. I just gotta take the dog out. Thank you so much for your patience, and I'll be back with you in 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Here, I'm gonna invite, I think this is your brother, into the chat. If you guys want to chat, feel free. I'll be back in a sec. Okay,
¿Qué onda? ¿Me escuchas?
Va a sonar en el stream, mejor solo.
Vos, Cerote, le quería hablar al Jan.
Daniel, estás en el stream, brother.
¿Y?
Suena tu español en el stream y lo pone en YouTube después.
¿Qué me va a importar a mí? Puta, te tomaste todo mi tiempo, vos. Le quería hablar de unos trips así loquísimos.
Ahorita le cuelo cuando regrese, solo le pregunto el stream, le pregunto después del...
Sí.
Del retreat, porque igual falta, pues, entonces...
¿A qué horas termina esto o qué?
No, falta para el... Termina cuando él quiere levantarse, falta para el retreat de que me voy, pues.
Pero él no tiene hora fija, pues él se va cuando él quiere. De esto, pues...
Pero más o menos como 1 hora y pico. Pero si no, después se va... pero igual, o sea, hay otros días que puedo preguntar más, pues. Porque seguramente...
Sí, es que yo le quería preguntar qué manera bien loca que me pasó. Pero sí, también. Pero es que no, por eso me metí en Discord, porque es más fácil hablarlo. Pues.
Yo te metí el link para copiarlo, porque no te copiar en mi teléfono. Pero...
Es que sí, dije, bueno, hablarle, porque escribirle esa mierda nunca quiero hablar. Y aparte que un pregunta era que falta que
deja de hablar así, porque YouTube tiene algoritmos que bloquean esas palabras. Entonces te pueden bloquear el video. Lo hacen en inglés y basta. Si no dejas lo que te estoy diciendo, por eso que te digo que no hables así.
Pues no dije ninguna mala palabra.
Tal vez no es. Espérate, pues.
Y a ver qué dice el brother.
Dice que cambiaron lo de Daylight Saving, ahora va a ser ya nunca va a cambiar la hora a las 9.
Pues eso estaba feliz, ojalá.
Bueno.
Estaba feliz el Janus, ¿no?
Sí, cambiaron, ya pasó. Nadie votó en contra.
Sí, ya no hace sentido, pero para nada.
Sí, sí hace sentido, pero o sea, como que o sea, lo que supuestamente hace, no lo hace bien. Y si ponete en España, o sea, tenés verano porque España está en un Western European Time y ellos están no están, perdón, en Eastern European Time creo que están o algo así, y de la nada tenés sol a las 9 de la noche, vamos. En Noruega tenés a veces sol hasta las 12 de la noche, igual no es como que tengan tantos problemas no tienen como que depression ni nada de eso.
Pues no era el rollo que en Dinamarca y así tenían depresión por ese tipo de
Pero
cosas.
eso es el SAD, que es el Seasonal Affect Disorder, cuando no hay sol, como por meses, que es como que, ajá, como en North Pole y South Pole, que a veces pasas 6 meses con sol y 6 meses sin sol. Entonces o tenés deficiency de vitamin D, gracias. Pero,
Y o sea, todo el punto de esto era para como que arreglarte tu horario para que sea más, o
ajá,
sea,
era para fix your schedule cuando tenés que ir al colegio y que te
Okay,
despertes y que tus circadian rhythms estén sinqueados
we're
con
back.
el daylight saving, por eso se llama daylight saving, porque estás saving
sí,
daylight.
sí, entiendo, o sea, entiendo el concepto, pues,
All right,
pero
guys, I'm
como
back.
estaba diciendo,
I'm back. I'm
ya,
back. Hello, hello. All right, Christian, did that answer your question?
Yeah, you now have like 5 minutes of Spanish speaking on
Oh,
your
well, great.
YouTube video.
Hopefully that was entertaining for folks. Okay, okay, folks. So,
So my brother wants to ask a question. I think if you have time, I'm gonna go hang up. Okay.
awesome. Okay, talk to you soon.
See you.
Daniel.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
hey, hey man, how are
Hey,
you?
how are you?
I had a really crazy experience last night,
Okay,
and
hit me.
I was wondering because I heard you talk a little bit about like I think it's called IFS, like internal family
Mm-hmm.
systems, and talking about ports or like the meditation today was like really like apt for like the experience I had yesterday. Like it was really good, but I had like a really crazy experience because I felt like at moments of my life I felt like different parts like of me like sometimes like speaking to me or having visions of me seeing them
Mm-hmm.
like very crazy stuff, and then I found out of this IFS thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how much of it is really true. I don't know, because yesterday I felt like a part of me talked to me like, hey, I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm gonna like take over for a few seconds, and then like he left. It was like really crazy, like I don't
Yeah.
know how to explain it.
Yeah, well, one thing I might recommend is a book called No Bad Parts, which came out pretty recently, probably last year. It's excellent. It's a really good description and explainer of how IFS works and the stance that we want to take that's really the kind of healthiest way of relating to these different parts of us. And it's just helpful to know that this is totally normal. Like, most people have some part of their mind that's talking, or actually many parts will express themselves through like talking in the mind or emotions in the body, this kind of thing. And the general model is that we have just different drivers, different things within us, and sometimes they take over. And even if right now it feels like you have a self, like the meditation we did is very much a parts related meditation. So even if it feels like you have a self right now, it's me. That's a part. The identity is a part. So just know that there is, there's something beyond that, which is our Buddhism might call like Buddha nature, or Hinduism might call true self, or this kind of thing. And the closest thing I relate it to is kind awareness. That's actually the closest thing to like our nature. But just know that that's normal. It's not a big deal. If you find that those parts are, like there's a whole series of questions which I'm not an expert in, but they say like you're encouraging you to harm yourself, encouraging you to harm someone else. That's still actually, those are still just parts doing their thing, or encouraging you to like take actions that seem, that could be potentially harmful for you or for your life, etc. Like those are actually still normal things. It's just parts speaking to you, and then other parts being like, oh, maybe I should listen, this kind of thing. So um, either way, if that's coming up, you probably want to talk to a professional for sure. But just know that that's actually a normal thing. Just a matter of how that affects our lives, which is where it gets tricky. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it was like really weird because I don't know, like for a moment it was scary because nothing like that has ever happened to me like
Yeah.
before. And it was just like he was talking to me like, hey, and he had a name like, hi, I'm Greg. And it's weird because Greg, and so I don't know what, some
Yeah.
parts of my like inner mind speak English to me,
Totally,
like to
totally
myself.
normal. Totally normal. And I know it sounds like weird, and we're used to in our society like saying that that's bad, but parts name themselves. I have parts that are, I have what are some of the parts? I think I have a part. Geez, I forget all the names of my parts suddenly. But I have 2 parts that have like female names. Oh, Shelley is one of my parts. There's different basically facets of our experience that once we start getting in touch with them, they can communicate. And I know this sounds like weird, sounds like it might be crazy, but it's like, if I could let right now the part of me that just wants to like lay down and take a nap speak right now, it would say, oh man, I wouldn't even finish the sentence because it's such a sleepy part. It would communicate in this sort of sleepy, and so we're, in a sense, what we're just doing is giving voice to these different drives within us. It's fine. It's not a big deal. So the part of you that's afraid, right, recognize that is a part too. The part of you that's like, oh, there's something wrong. Okay, so that part's trying to keep things safe. It's trying to keep things in order. It wants things to be okay. And so it's telling us that that voice is bad, or maybe it's bad, or it's got to look for something dangerous, and it's spiking adrenaline. And
yeah, it was really interesting because at first it was like so intense. Like he was like saying like, hi, I'm Greg. I'm like he took over like my body, like my mind. No, not my body, like my mind. He was like, he took over my mind. But then like he left, and it didn't leave like a bad feeling. Like it was just overwhelming when he came. But when he left, it was like peaceful. It was very weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
Yeah, and so just remember that this is actually happening all the time. The self that feels like it's operating right now, it's taken over. It's using your body and mind. You just never notice it. So you just notice something happening that happens all the time, like all throughout the day. Parts take over. They take over your body. The part of you that wants to get something done gets off the couch, it goes and takes a drink, whatever. These are just different parts pushing and pulling. So I'm going to have to end this stream because I'm actually a little over. I'm supposed to end at noon, but I want to make sure before I do, we get to Will Alexander Bethany's poem. So Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you here. Keep us posted. I'm curious to hear how this unfolds. And I'm going to end the Discord part, but you can feel free to jump back to the stream. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your question.
Okay, thank you very much, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Thank you. And let us hear what Will Alexander has given us. If you folks don't know, Will Alexander is our resident poet laureate. Will Alexander says the following.
Eric Clapton is the king of the hill when it comes to celebrity holistic kidney healing advocates and fighters for the right to use endangered animal parts to heal our kidney.
I didn't know that.
The guy even flew to India and inhaled chlorine trifluoride with Quandai while doing intracavernous injections of the cerebrospinal fluid of a Sumatran rhino.
Wow.
Daniel Ingram doesn't do any of this. He doesn't care about health, just muscle.
So true. So true. The irony that we had a Daniel Ingram on the stream today. Different Daniel Ingram. Maybe we think it's a different Daniel Ingram, but we haven't seen them in the same room. Is very high. That is fascinating. Thank you so much, Will Alexander. I feel like everyone. Does Will Alexander? Do you have a channel? Do you have like a channel that we can subscribe to here? I don't think you do. But so you've been following since May 2020. So thank you for that. That's all the information I have on you. I've done my deep dive, and that is where I end. Okay, folks, I got to jump off. I have plenty to get to in this particular moment. So let us jump into some outro music. So let us listen to this music. And in this moment, notice the different drives within us. We're finishing the stream. There's part of us that wants to jump up, go get some stuff done, all that kind of thing. So just noticing that and letting that be part of the whole, letting that meet that kind, spacious awareness. And folks, letting this particular moment be the great teacher. As always, we'll be back here in fewer than 48 hours to hang and meditate again. Practice well, take care of each other, have fun, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.